No Cap? I'm just kidding. What's up, No Cap? What's up, No Cap? Hello, everybody. Happy, I don't know when we're going to post this, but today is Saturday. I hope everyone's had a good week. But today we are going to be talking about
anxiety.
We're going to be talking about anxiety because why not? We both
suffer from it
a lot, more recently than normal. And,
that's true.
Why not?
Yeah.
So here we are going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about, I don't know, maybe our personal stories with it and what we do to combat it, I guess.
Yeah, we're not professionals. This is not psychiatric advice.
Don't follow us if anything. If anything, do the opposite.
This is not psychological advice. You know how they say, like, this is not financial advice? Yes, this is not psychological advice.
If anything, just do the complete opposite of what we're going to tell you and you will be successful.
But you know what? A lot of people suffer from anxiety, so it might be beneficial to know you're not alone.
Yeah, that's true. Alrighty, guys, without further ado, here we go. Alrighty. So, anxiety.
Okay, so you want to know what's interesting?
What?
I actually didn't know I had anxiety.
Wait, we should talk about what anxiety is first.
Oh. Okay.
Just kidding. Well, basically.
No, let's start.
Yeah, basically, anxiety for me is activating your fight or flight. It could be good, it could be bad. It could be good in the terms of, like, if you have anxiety for an exam, an upcoming exam.
It makes you work.
It makes you work, or something like that, like a job promotion or whatever. It makes you work. It could be bad if it's chronic or ongoing to the point where you're not functioning your activities of daily living.
Yeah, anxiety can be very debilitating for some people. And
you kind of feel like there's an impending sense of doom. I think I remember that from my mental health class, but yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, we're very blessed.
Yeah.
We're high functioning.
Yeah.
So we do not suffer from quote unquote debilitating anxiety.
Sometimes I don't sleep, but it's okay.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I think part of that is because anxiety, I feel like somewhat goes hand in hand with stress in a sense.
Stress is good.
Well, stress can be good.
Stress can be
good. But
what
I'm saying is, I think they could feel the same almost. Because being stressed can make you anxious.
Right.
You know? But either way, being in that state, like being in an anxious state for too long, just takes a toll on your body.
Yeah,
like stress does. Because yes, stress can be good, but long-term stress,
like physiologically,
it's not that great.
Yeah, no. So how did you discover?
Oh, that I had anxiety?
What?
My fiance pointed it out to me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. Because like I would hear two of our friends from high school. One of who we're seeing on Sunday.
Okay.
I'd be in the back seat of like the car. We're going somewhere, the three of us.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how they're anxious all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
right.
Can't relate. I wish.
Well, I wish you the best, girl.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just all like, I'm just here, right?
Yeah.
And then I started I got into my relationship. Started somewhat having panic attacks sometimes. I didn't realize that my shaking of my leg, anxiety tick.
Yeah.
My picking at my cuticles, anxiety tick. Look at my cuticle.
Yeah.
Like it's just I wasn't aware. So he was like, "Are you anxious?" It's like, I don't have anxiety. What are you talking about?
Right.
And then I realized I do, and it can be pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of, if not, I mean, everyone experiences anxiety at some point.
Yeah.
You see a lot of it's kind of funny because if I'm sitting in a classroom or whatever, or like we went for a real estate workshop the other day.
Yeah.
And some of the students that I saw, they just started shaking their leg a lot, like right before they were supposed to go. I kind of saw it with you too. I was like, oh, she's getting a little anxious. But sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little anxious.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I'm just in a season of realizing things.
I'm just realizing a lot of things right now.
I'm just in a year of realizing things.
I'm a year of realization.
So basically, I'm on my way to becoming Kylie Jenner.
Oh, is that from Kylie Jenner?
Yeah,
I didn't even know I was doing
that.
Did she say that in the Kardashians?
No, she said it in like a little video or something.
Oh.
Or I think like an interview.
No.
I don't remember which one, but she's like, I'm just realizing things.
Interesting.
And it became a meme.
Interesting. For me, I think anxiety's always kind of been there. Like you, I never really had a name for it until I got into like some certain like classes where they talk about anti-anxiety meds, anxiolytics, and so that's when I was like, maybe
I am anxious.
Yeah, but it's never gotten to the point where, because anxiety can happen to the point where it turns into panic.
Yes.
And my little cousin, she lives in Canada, and I remember, because they're sisters. I have 2 girl cousins, and the older one was telling me about the younger one's anxiety, how like she can't even go to school sometimes because it's so bad.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, stop being a bitch. Come on, let's get up, bitch. Come on, go to school. What? You're fucking scared? What?
What are you scared of? What are you scared of?
I know. But anyway, I was like, no, that I feel ignorant about saying that. But I kind of felt that up until I started realizing. It started to happen.
Started realizing things.
It started to happen to me. And like even my professor in mental health, she got diagnosed with like GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder. And she got diagnosed when she was like in middle school, I think. And when she told me that, I was like, bitch, what? Just go to school.
You're 12.
Just go to school. I know. What are you fucking anxious about? Just go to school. Oh, I mean, no. I was just like, stop being a bitch.
Oh, bitch, and go to school.
But anyway, anxiety is different from a lot of people. But for me, I do the same thing where I'm like, I bite my nails a lot.
Oh yeah, I have always been a nail biter.
Yeah,
it's really bad. It's a really bad habit, and I go through. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
I go through like seasons where or periods of time where I don't bite my nails at all, and I'm like, yes, they're growing, and then I start biting them again.
Yeah.
But what makes it worse is my cuticle picking.
Yeah. It's okay. It's fine. But I I realized that I think when I started getting into relationships, like after Cheese Dick, the guy after Cheese Dick.
Yeah.
He
a new anxiety level unlocked.
That was when I actually realized I started biting my nails, and I was like, why am I biting my nails so much? And I would be like tapping my foot, and that was like that was just like the beginning of it. And then my last long-term relationship, there was a point where it was like that day a lot was revealed to me. The day I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what day.
And that day I was just, dude, my whole body like uncontrollably shaking, and I was like shivering, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm panicking right now, and I couldn't breathe. And then I remembered my ex-boyfriend's sister was there, and she was like trying to help me, and yeah, I think another time I felt it recently was the last relationship I had when we were breaking up, because I even though it was needed to happen, I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
And so I remember that day when we were breaking up, I was literally just like, my hand was just like shaking uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And I was like biting my nails. I was like trying to self-soothe.
Yeah.
And so that's it for me. That kind of is for me. Oh, well, my anxiety is also, well, this is also part of it, but I have rampant thoughts.
Oh, same.
Yeah, I have rampant thoughts. And you know this because you're the only person I'd be talking to nowadays. But my anxiety gets so bad, and my uncontrollable thoughts just like on and on and on.
She's a bitch.
Yeah,
she's a bitch.
On and on.
I really hate her sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like to the point where like I've had insomnia for years. Like in general, I have insomnia.
Yeah.
And ever since, like, because I'm going through the breakup,
Yeah.
My thoughts are just uncontrollable to the point where I don't sleep.
Well, I feel like I've never heard you complain or
talk about my insomnia.
Talk about insomnia so much.
Yeah. And it's to the point where I can't sleep. It's so hard for me to sleep at night. Because there's two types of insomnia, right? Where it's like when it's hard to sleep or hard to get to sleep.
Yeah, and then there's the one where it's hard to stay asleep.
Yeah, where you're constantly waking up. And I've dealt with both of them. I've actually dealt with both of them. But like the one now is just more, I can't sleep.
Oh my gosh, I just realized I had anxiety all throughout high school.
You couldn't sleep?
I didn't sleep for 4 years.
I'm sorry.
I would sleep, but like I wasn't asleep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you never had that deep sleep.
Yeah, I was half awake the whole time for 4 years straight.
That's when your fight or flight just it's not good.
And it was because I was anxious about where I am at now. And I wasn't even close to being here yet.
Well, it all worked out, right?
And it's all going to.
It's all working out.
I still get anxious about it, but it's okay.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to talk about is we want to give our personal advice on how to deal with anxiety.
We're not psychological.
No, we're both not perfect. You know,
we're close.
We're
not going to claim to be.
No, we're both not perfect. We both deal with it a lot, but there are certain things, like I'm going through counseling, and what they teach me is there are certain things that they teach me, and I just want to share that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have anything to say?
I don't think so, at least in that regard.
Yeah.
I haven't been to counseling yet, but we're going to work on that.
Yeah, we're working on that.
We're going to work on getting me therapy.
Actually, before we go on, I kind of want to say what happened this weekend, or what happened this week at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so literally, I've been having, obviously, insomnia over the past couple of nights. So my sleep has not been great. My sleep has not been great at all. Where like I sleep at like 3 a.m. and then I have to get up for work at like 4:30 in the morning. And so I think that night I've actually been having like night terrors not past couple, whatever.
Oh.
Like I remember. Yeah. And so I actually had I think I finally slept that night, but I had work the next day. I had insomnia. I slept around 2:30 and I had insomnia. And I texted you the night before because there's this weird thing. I just discovered it. So I was
so confused.
I sleep text.
When I look at my phone and it says, bruh, where'd you go?
At like 3 a.m. And it's at 3 a.m., okay?
And I'm like, is she mad that I didn't text her?
And it's no,
because we were texting before that. Like we were, we were texting.
Yeah.
Before, like,
oh, did you think that?
Like an hour or two before that. And so I'm like,
and it's like,
what was happening?
It's like 2. It was like 2 a.m. Right? I texted you, bro. Where'd you go? In all caps. And then she gets up in the morning because she has work around 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And she's like, I don't even think you respond to it.
I didn't, because I just figured like whatever you were going through in that moment is probably past already. Yeah. And I don't want to bring it back up. Anyway. I'm like, I think she got it done.
Anyway, I wake up because I don't have work that day. And so I wake up around like 9 or 10 because I'm exhausted, right? And I'm just texting her about random shit throughout the day. And I like scroll through our text messages.
Lie to yourself.
I was like, why did I send this? She's like, I don't know.
I was so confused.
And I was like, wait, I'm confused too.
And I was like, why are you confused?
You know what though? A couple months ago, I found a couple videos on my camera roll at 3 a.m. though. And I'm just recording like in my room. There's like 2 videos in my camera roll. Room tour. Room tour.
I don't want to show you my okay, so anyway, you're like, this is Nick.
Nicolas Cage like pillowcase in my room where I sleep. I think it's haunted. Probably
it's the Nicolas Cage.
But anyway, Destiny and I have this inside joke where Jenna Marbles, we love her. We grew up with her basically. And there's this
raised.
Go ahead, you tell them about Bach.
Okay, so if anybody knows Jenna, then you know she's married to Julian
Solomita.
And when he first started doing videos with her, like towards the beginning when he had like his long hair, she did drag makeup on him. And she was like, "What's your drag name?" He goes, "Bach."
Like the first name was Bach,
and then the last name was and cheese. Mac and cheese.
So Destiny and I just randomly go to her.
So if we do that, that's why.
Anyway, so I have like 2 random videos I'll show you after where I'm just recording. I'm just recording my room. This is Nicolas Cage. Okay, hold on.
I'm so sorry.
So anyway, I text you, bro, where'd you go? In all caps.
We were sitting, I'm sorry, another side note. We were sitting in her car outside of my house after Georgia we're talking in sentences like that. Except we're not saying sentences, we're just saying phrases.
We're throwing up.
You were gagging!
We just ate! And we ate IHOP and it made me want to... Oh my god.
That was your idea.
Okay.
You're the one who wanted that.
I know. I didn't even finish.
I was gonna be like, you didn't even get pancakes, but you did.
Wait, okay. So I text her, bro, where'd you go? And she looks up confused. I wake up even more confused.
And you're like, wait, it's correlated to the videos, to my room tour.
And so that was the beginning, right? Next couple of days later,
No, not a couple days later.
No, hold
the
on.
Night after.
It happens again.
You texted me again.
I text her again.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. I text her. What did I text you?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I texted you. But I text you, and I'm like, and we wake up the next morning.
So confused.
And I was at work the next morning, and I was looking through our text messages. Like I said, you're the only person I talk to. So you're the only one I would be texting.
Oh my god.
And so I see her. You want a napkin?
I'm okay.
And I see her. I see her text message thread, and I'm like, "What the fudge? Why did I text her again?" And I
don't know. You know what made it probably worse?
What?
You texted my mom.
I was just gonna say that. So I'm like texting her. I'm like, "Dude, it happened again." And I'm like going through work, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so weird." And that night was when I had the night terror.
Oh yeah,
that was when I had sleep paralysis, and I thought a demon was in my room. I literally felt it was terrifying.
Yeah, Kendall Jenner.
It's so funny. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to say, I'm so sorry. We're gonna go back to anxiety soon. Hold on. But so I've been waiting. I'm fasting right now. Okay, I'm fasting for a lot of reasons. For a main reason though, but I've been praying for God to give me a vision. Okay, I've been praying for months for God to give me a vision. And so I'm sleeping. This is the night where I text her randomly, and I'm sleeping, and I like feel wind, literally like wind takes the top blanket, the top sheet off. I'm gonna get raped. What's your drag name? Aped. Okay, so the wind just opens knocks my top sheet off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm finally getting my vision. And like I hear like alien noises. You know, like when you hear from Hollywood, beep boop, beep boop, you know? And
they play a song?
And I'm like, oh my gosh, my vision. I remember thinking my vision is finally happening. And I feel my legs get carried from because I'm sleeping. Obviously, I'm sleeping with the direction of the bed. So these are my legs. And all of a sudden, I feel like something lift my feet. I'm like, here. And I'm like, I'm finally getting my vision. And all of a sudden, I just see Kendall Jenner. Not one, but 2 Kendall Jenners. 2 Kendall Jenners, and they're both smiling. I'm like, this is my vision. They're like, this is my vision. Kendall Jenner. I'm like, oh my god, this is it. And I open my eyes, sleep paralysis demon. Sleep paralysis demon.
The Kardashians are demons.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, you know what? It's funny.
The last guy I dated thought they were demons.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a big conspiracy theory going on. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And you watch the Kardashians sometimes. Yeah. They've addressed it in the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I think it was last season. Kim gets into she's at like a restaurant with Scott.
Yeah.
And she's like, Scott, the men who have dated us need to speak up because they keep saying that we're witches and that we're this and we're that.
I see.
And we're not. Like, would you be with a witch? Something like that. She said something along those lines.
But anyway,
that's what anxiety can do.
Wait. So I texted her that night. I realized I texted her mom too.
Oh yeah, she texted my mom.
So not only did I text you randomly throughout the night, I was looking through my messages. And I only text you and your mom, basically. And I text her mom, good night, I love you. Like at 2 a.m. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I sending random people messages? So I sleep text.
You sleep text.
Sleep text.
It's the new sleepwalking.
Yeah, I sleep text. Anyway. Wait, hold on. And so I text her, there was like this Wednesday, I had work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I texted you before I went to sleep. Hopefully my sleep texting doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and I told you, make it something good.
Yeah, at least make it something good.
Yeah, I wanted some juicy details or something.
And it ended up not happening. But the next morning, I woke up so refreshed. And I was like, oh my god, I feel so...
Get ready with me.
I feel so energized this morning. And I'm like looking through my phone. And normally I don't have a lot of time. And I'm like, because I have to wake up at 4:30 to leave my house around like by 5:30. Yeah. And I I give myself 15 to 20 minutes of grace, so I'm just on my phone or whatever. Or I'm like, if I want to sleep some more.
Yeah.
And so I'm like texting you in the morning, like, oh, thank God it didn't happen. And I have time this morning. I feel so good. I woke up early.
Yes.
So I went to the restroom to pee. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I have like 15 more minutes before I have to leave. So let me go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep. Mind you, I woke up at 5:45. I was supposed to wake up at 4:45. The time I woke up, I have to leave my house by 5:30 to make it to work on time at 7. And I'm like looking through my phone after my first time going back to sleep. I'm like, I wonder how long it's gonna take me. And I was like, wait, why is it 1:30 to get to work? That's so weird. Normally it takes me like 50 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. I woke up like an hour later.
You know what's so funny, actually?
What?
That's happened to me twice.
Really?
I just remembered.
You went to work late?
No. I woke up. Okay, you know what happened?
What?
Okay, so my parents and I were going to meet my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where and for what. The point is, we had a date with him.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was big because you know how my dad is.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wake up and I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, good thing. I woke up before my alarm.
Yeah.
I go, good thing, because no, actually, I thought I woke up late.
Uh-huh.
I thought I woke up late. I thought it was like, I think I was supposed to wake up at 8 and it was like, I saw the clock and it said 9. Or I checked my phone and it said 9.
Yeah.
And I looked at the clock and it said 9, right?
Yeah.
I jumped in the shower. I showered in like 5 minutes.
What time did you have to meet him?
I forget. I think like around 10 or something.
Oh.
But like my parents still had to get ready.
Oh, they didn't wake up either?
They weren't up yet. So I was going to have to like wake them up.
Oh my God.
And my dad takes forever to get ready.
Really?
He takes longer than I do. So I was all like, oh my gosh, we're not going to make it in time. Like,
did you have reservations?
I think so. I don't remember what it was for, but I was stressing.
Yeah.
Like, so I showered in like 5 minutes. I get out and I go to my room and I look and I go, why the hell does that clock say 8?
Oh my gosh.
That happened to me not once, but twice. And
That's
I forget
crazy.
what the second occasion was, but it happened again. And my dad was like, why don't you look at the actual clock?
You're like, I did.
Phone. I'm like, I freaking did.
That's
it said the same thing my phone said. Twice. I think I time traveled.
Within 5 minutes. So you got like a weak ass shower. You got a weak ass shower for nothing.
Yep. I think I jumped back into the shower.
Oh, to finish it.
Yeah.
You're like, I still had shampoo in my hair. I still had to deep condition.
I was like, wait, I think I can shave my legs now.
Okay, sorry guys. That was like,
you know what though? I was
minutes.
probably anxious.
Maybe. Oh yeah, that happens to you sometimes.
I was probably anxious.
That happens to you sometimes.
Because honestly, even like, and
it's your fight or flight.
It's true, because even like, I think it was this week or last week. No, was it Monday? Anyways, I knew that sometime that has already passed. Mm-hmm. Forget if it was this week or last week. Actually, I think it was Tuesday of last week. The schedule for the office was really packed. Mm-hmm. And I was like kind of already stressing before the day even started. And that night I woke up like 6 times.
Yeah. It's your fight or flight.
Like, how am I gonna get through this?
During a big day, like event, I actually wake up earlier than my alarm clock.
Yeah, same.
And your body knows.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about advice. So one thing I learned in therapy is I'm gonna spill some Jesus in this.
Did you ever have the Sprinkle of Jesus app?
I did. Yeah,
I did too.
It stopped giving me messages.
It stopped giving me messages too.
So but when I was going through something, it started giving me messages again. Oh. And I don't know if it's Jesus or my FBI agent in my phone.
FBI Zenny?
Yeah. But anyway, this is what I learned in therapy. So we learned about crucifying our thoughts. So you know how Jesus was crucified? Have your parents told you this yet?
I've heard them say it.
Oh, okay. Well, more knowledge. So you know how I just finished Passion of the Christ. I was sobbing. I
cried during Narnia.
Aslan, when Aslan died?
Yes, when they shaved him.
That was Platy Boy.
Platy was her dog.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to Platy.
Rest in peace.
He was the sweetest dog to ever exist.
Platy baby. Platy baby 1 2. Anyway.
Yeah. So Passion of the Christ is like on a different level.
Yeah. So we learned how obviously Jesus was crucified on a mountain. Okay, It says in the Bible, and the mountain is called Golgotha or some shit like that in the Bible. I should bring my Bible out here so I can be factually.
It's okay.
Anyway, the direct translation of the name is head of the skull. Okay, it's called head of the skull. So when I was getting counseling, your father, who was my counselor, pastor, counsel, he was saying you should be doing the same thing with your thoughts. Because I told him, I was like, I'm so anxious. Like I'm like waiting for this to happen, waiting for this to happen. When is this gonna happen? Blah blah blah. Yeah. And he was like, and I remember I was like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if this happens? I was thinking like worst
too many what ifs. You go through like every single possibility in your head.
Worst case scenarios, right? Or not even worst case scenarios, like not even worst case scenarios. But I was like stressing over everything.
Sometimes your scenarios, they be out there.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay though, I get it.
I'm like, what if he jumps through a hula hoop and then he dies? No. But anyway, I was like trying to crucify my thought. He was like, you should crucify your thoughts. And he was telling me about how Jesus was crucified on the head of the skull. And when he was actually like, during his last couple of breaths, I think when Mel Gibson did Passion of the Christ, he kind of showed, because there's a human depiction of the enemy, of the devil, right? Yes,
trying to pull him off.
Right, and so he was like, a lot of people who study the Bible know this, but you have to kind of read in between the lines. But when Jesus was breathing his last couple of breaths, the enemy, devil, was actually trying to pull him off. And why? Why? Because if Jesus dies, that means humanity wins.
Yes.
God wins.
Yes.
The devil didn't want, obviously, God to win. He didn't want us to win.
Because the covenant was sealed.
With Jesus' blood.
Yes.
If Jesus died, we win. Yes. If Jesus doesn't die, the enemy wins, because he wouldn't have died for our sins.
Exactly.
And so he was like, you have to think of it that way. And he was just saying, like, when you crucify your mind, the devil's playground is what? Your mind, right? And that's where he attacks the most. He attacks physically, attacks whatever, but most of it comes through our mind. Because you literally do everything your mind does, or what it says, right? So if you can attack it from there, if you crucify your mind, like when Jesus died on the head of the skull, the enemy loses. That's exactly what the devil wants, is for you to keep thinking these thoughts.
Exactly.
A lot of these thoughts come from the enemy. And one good way to know this is, does it give you peace?
Yes. Because fear is not of God.
Yeah.
Confusion is not of God.
Confusion and fear and that feeling of anxiety is not of God.
Yeah.
It's not. God is a God of peace.
Yes.
He will only give you peace and happiness. And if you feel anything other than that, that's not of God.
Exactly.
And so when you have these certain thoughts, it could be from you, because you can do it to yourself.
Yes.
Or it could be your enemy, the enemy, I mean. And so you have to understand that when you have certain triggers, like, okay, well, going to this place triggers me. Or thinking about certain things triggers me to think more bad things. Once you understand that you have triggers and what those triggers are, you can prepare yourself to crucify your thoughts. Like the other day, or the other night, I was like trying to sleep, and my voice sounded fat right now. And so I was trying to sleep, and obviously my thoughts were rampant. And I was like, oh my God, what if my grandma dies tomorrow? What if I wake up tomorrow and my grandma's dead? My grandma's like 97 years old. I know, like, it's gonna happen soon, you know? And so, but not tomorrow. And I was like, oh my God, what if she like dies tomorrow? Like, what if we wake up and we find her and my mom tells me that she's dead? Sorry, it's my dog. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was, as soon as I said that, I was like, Kat, like, shut the fuck up. Like, dude, like, shut up. Like, dude, stop thinking this way. She's not. And if she does, then it's about, like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so that is one example of crucifying your thoughts.
Yeah. I think it takes some self-awareness.
Yeah. Because what did you tell me the other day about realizing you even have a problem? That's the first step.
Oh, yes. Yes. The first
step
of fixing a problem is recognizing that there is one.
You have to be real self-aware. Yeah. Like, for example, I'll give you another example. I have anxiety about my future husband, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if this person does blah blah blah? What if this person does? And normally, what I do to combat it is, one, I go to prayer first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm getting freaking triggered. And then if that doesn't work, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, I go to my community, which is you or your mom, and we talk about certain things. And we're like, okay, it's good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. And then but for the most part, or not for the most part, there are times where I'm like, okay, Kat, you gotta chill out. Like, this literally does nothing. You're volunteering to be anxious.
Yeah.
You're literally volunteering to be anxious.
Yeah.
Like, don't give it your time and energy.
No, I completely agree. When my fiance was working at that video production studio, that gave me a lot of anxiety. Like, I think that's when my anxiety was in high gear. I don't think it was fully because, well, I have a lot of secondhand trauma. I'm scared of infidelity. Like, that is probably like one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know, like, when I would get anxious, I don't think it was fully that situation because, I mean, well, I was just considering that I was bipolar at that point.
Yeah.
Because
you were going through a lot of emotions.
Yeah, I was just being emotional in general.
Yeah.
Even when it had nothing to do with what he was starting to, like, for work. But where was I going with that? But anyways, I would one of the things I would do is pray.
Yeah.
And then after that if that didn't work, usually it helped me a little bit, like calm down a little bit. But if I was still like on the, like, I would stop crying for like 5 minutes and then I would start crying again.
Yeah.
Because I was so anxious.
Oh. Okay.
Because I was so anxious. And I'm like, why isn't he texting me back? He's probably doing whatever. I would distract myself.
Oh, yeah, distraction's great.
Yeah. I love...
Keep going.
And honestly, that's probably like one of my go-to solutions right now,
Mm-hmm.
as in like recently, because, you know, just started Sex in the City.
Yeah.
So that's a great distraction.
Yeah.
But if the distractions didn't work and I would like start crying mid-distraction, then I would be like, you know what? You have no control.
Yeah.
Over what's gonna
another
happen.
Person.
Yeah, because like they are their own person.
Yeah.
Whatever they do is their choice.
Right.
So you being anxious of your lack of control over them, like, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Like, if that's gonna, like, for me, if he was gonna do that, there would have been nothing
that you could have done.
Not a single thing in my power that I could have done. Yeah. To stop him from doing something.
That's a good way to keep yourself grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one, you and I were even talking when I picked you up, I was anxious over something and you told me to pray, right? First. Yeah. And the second thing was, why won't you pray for God to prepare your heart if the worst case scenario does happen? Because there is a possibility that the worst case scenario could happen. Yeah. And I was like, well, what happens? What do I do? I'm trying to, because I used to be a serial control freak. I still sort of am. I love controlling things.
I think we both do.
Yeah. God's teaching me a lot of things right now in this certain season. But anyway.
I think your control is knowledge. Yeah. You know, like you like to know things.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is, you know this about me, but I always skip to the end of the movie.
No, I know.
Because I hate not knowing.
Needs spoilers.
I hate not knowing. And I apply that to life. I need to know. Anyway, God is teaching me that. But that's one good way to combat it is, Lord, prepare, if that worst case scenario does happen,
prepare me.
Prepare my heart. Prepare me so if it does happen, the blow isn't so bad. Yeah. It'll be a softer blow. Like, if it does happen, it'll be a softer blow. And I used to be like, well, it's still gonna happen, blah blah blah. And I think I've come to terms with, acceptance of it. And it's true, you can't control another person. You can't. There are certain things where you can't control, and you have to leave it in the hands of God.
Exactly.
And one thing is, and Lord, please help me. But because I was praying this morning, like, Lord, please speak through me. I was just thinking, like, God knows the best plan. It's true. Best plan that anything that could ever be, thought of, God knows it. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, I'm getting a little anxious right now.
You guys like our mic that we're not using.
Okay, anyway, God knows our best plan. The plan that you think is best, it's not even the best. It's not even the best. And I think one of the big things I wanted to talk about is, if that does happen, the worst case scenario does happen, good. I mean, no, I'm serious. Like, good. That's good that happened. Mm-hmm. Because one thing I learned recently during counseling is, if a tragedy happens that you had no control over, or even if you had control over, God will always use it for his glory in the end.
That's true. Sometimes, or probably not sometimes.
All the time.
All the time, it's usually the case that things have to get bad to get extremely good.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? That's actually really good. And you told me that, and I was like, you're right. And it happens, like, even in movies, you see things go to shit first. Yeah. Before the very end where it turns good.
Yeah, literally every, like, story arc, there has to be, it has to hit the low before it reaches the peak.
And that's the only way you can grow. How are you going to grow if you're at the very high part of the mountain? Your God, during every situation, whether you, I don't know, girl, believe God. Anyway, what I'm saying is, personally, I remember with, I'll just say his name, Miguel. It's okay. She was like, don't say his name. But that was like months ago.
You should have called him Remy.
No, I'm not gonna disrespect him.
You should call him Remy. Ratatouille.
No, okay, I'm not disrespecting him.
I'm not disrespecting him.
That is. Okay, anyway, he was my first rib cage, and we'll talk about that later on in this, we get there. Like in another podcast. But he was my first rib cage. And obviously he and I didn't we separated, right? Yeah. It didn't work out. And my worst fear was, it's not going to be him. It's going to be someone else. It's going to be someone else.
Yeah, it's true.
Which, it ended up being someone else, But anyway, the worst case scenario happened. Mm-hmm. But I am so glad that happened. Unfortunately, like I was really, really depressed and I was sad.
Oh, yeah. That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was really tough. I was so anxious. I was like so depressed. But looking back at it, I'm glad that it happened because it's preparing me for this breakup now. If that didn't happen, this breakup would have probably killed me. I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because now I'm going through a breakup, but you can even attest to it. It's not as bad.
It's not nearly as bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad.
It's not as bad.
I have the skills now.
Yeah.
It's like, Navy SEALs. David Goggins. I love David Goggins. Sometimes I wake up.
This is going to be a side tangent for me. Do not let her indoctrinate you into the cult.
I will. If you don't know who he is, educate yourself. He is so. I wake up.
Brace yourself when you educate yourself.
I wake up every morning, and I'm like, what would Jesus do? What would David Goggins do? And I put 2 and 2 together, and they both would do the same thing. I love David Goggins. Lord, please don't take him away. He is so cool. He is my idol. I love him. That's probably why I have a fucked up knee.
That is
the exact reason why.
That's exactly
I tore my meniscus. Actually, we don't know yet.
MR results pending.
Okay, anyway. See, he was a Navy SEAL. Uh-huh. And during their training, they go through like months of training and like basic underwater training and whatnot. And dude, Navy SEAL training is the worst, like the hardest out of every branch of the military. Mm-hmm. And they like don't sleep for like multiple days. They're in shivering weather. It's absolutely torture. Mm-hmm. But the officers, I don't know, the people training them, sergeants or whatever the heck.
I don't know military.
I don't know military either. But sorry. But they put them through, it's not even small amounts of stress, but they put them through amounts of stress mm-hmm. to train them for when disaster strikes, mm-hmm. they're already prepared.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that Jesus does to us. Well, that's the same thing you should... No, I take that back. That's the same thing. That's how you should see it. This is happening for my benefit.
Yeah, well, anything that happens, at least bad, or bad and bad, God allows it.
God allows everything.
So there's a purpose. Mm-hmm. So if you're going through something, which
a tragedy,
maybe you're like, why would God allow this? We don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, you probably won't know until its purpose is fulfilled.
If it's not now, it's later. If it's not this, it's better.
I mean, think about it. My mom says the same thing. And my mom went through
hell.
She went through hell in her childhood. Mm-hmm. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would think like, why would God have allowed that?
Yeah. To such an amazing woman.
She's a child. Angel. She was innocent.
Yeah.
Like she didn't, and not even just with one person. Multiple people. It was like she was a magnet for it.
Yeah.
And if you ask her to this day, she'll be all like, did I go through all of that? Yeah. Was it hell? Yeah. Did it help me help others?
All for his glory.
Yep.
All for his glory. Sometimes God uses us, all the time. God uses your specific testimony to reach out to other people going through the same old shit.
Exactly.
Same old shit. And it's good. And everything that you've gone through, you've helped me. Mm-hmm. Everything that I've gone through, I don't really necessarily help you, but I help others. Maybe one day I can help you. But there have been times where I've had to tell people my testimony because they were going through the same shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, look at me.
Yeah.
Like, I am the testimony of you fail. Look how successful this is now.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
I feel like we're not even talking about anxiety.
I know, this turned into like something completely different.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah, we started off with anxiety.
It's natural.
Yeah.
I mean,
but what I'm saying is, every time you have anxiety, if that worst case scenario thing does happen, leave it at the hands of Jesus.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna be.
And if you're not gonna be fine,
what do I tell you every day? At the end, who's running across that victory?
At the end of the day, whatever happens, you yourself
are the victorious one.
It says it in the Bible in Romans. That, what does it say in Romans?
I don't know. I don't know if you know this book. Those books can be kind of big.
Okay, Romans 8:28. Romans 8:18. But God, for the suffering you feel now, mm-hmm. It will be so much bliss in the end.
Yeah.
You will be put through so many trials, tribulations. I was just telling my friend this, trials and tribulations, but it will be so good in the end. Just keep going.
Yeah. It's like that really, I've sent it to you, the bear picture, mm-hmm. where it's like this little girl and she has a little teddy bear. Mm-hmm. She's like, Jesus, I want that one. Yeah. But behind his back, he has like the big fat teddy bear that they sell for like $50 at Walmart on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It will always be for your benefit. For those who love God, you just have to stick to it. Crucify during your moments of anxiety, crucify those thoughts. Mm-hmm. Crucify them.
Lift it up.
Learn. Yeah, literally. I think your mom taught me this, or you taught me this, where you're like, Lord, I literally put my hands out in front of me. Mm-hmm. For those who are hearing this and not seeing this, there's all of my worries, all my fears, and I literally pray and I'm like, Lord, hot potato. Here you go.
And if you feel it again,
whoop. Yeah, volleyball. Whoop.
I pass it to you.
It will literally always be for your testimony. And every trial, every valley that you face, there will always be a mountain. Because at the very bottom, there's nowhere else you're going except for up.
Yeah, because all anxiety is fear. Mm-hmm. So once you like ground yourself, mm-hmm. realize,
actually,
what am I fearing? Obviously, depending, it could be like hurt, like heartbreak or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like, that won't be good. But at the end, as long as you have faith, you're going to be fine.
Gonna be good. Your dad was telling me that fear are the things that we see. Anxiety are the things that we don't see.
Exactly.
Literally.
It's intangible.
Yeah, it's intangible.
It's intangible fear.
Yeah, literally. Like, you see a scary person coming up to you, like a monster, that's fear.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, it's coming, but I don't see it, that's literally anxiety.
You know what that reminds me of? When we were watching Annabelle in your family room on Halloween. For those who don't know, this girl cannot handle scary movies at all.
I don't.
I've gotten a little better at it, but I've always been able to handle like the ghost ones. Yeah. I don't know why. Those ones tend to be more realistic.
I like zombie movies.
I like a zombie movie, but like at least before my fiance, I couldn't handle like a Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. Yeah. But like stuff like The Conjuring or whatnot, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not scary.
Mind you, I get scared of the comedies Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3 with Anna Faris. I get terrified. I don't sleep for days. Okay, go on.
Okay, so the point is that, okay, because like Annabelle and The Conjuring, or Annabelle's pretty realistic because
it happened in real life, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it happened in real life, but the point is, like, because it's realistic, it's not going to be like those other movies where they, like, the doll turns to the character,
think that's pretty
and
realistic.
they start talking. Like, that doesn't happen. So the whole time we were watching Annabelle, she's like, it's gonna turn his head, she's gonna talk, I'm like, why are we watching?
She's gonna talk shit.
I'm like, Catherine?
She's gonna be like,
she's like,
she'll be like, bitch. She'll be like, pussy.
It's like Chucky just putting the knife up and nothing. But the point is, it's like, it was just gonna sit there. Yeah. And I knew it was gonna just sit there because in real life, they don't, I mean, like, it might turn or whatever. Like, it might face you when it wasn't facing you before. But like,
see that shit? I won't sleep tonight. I literally, imagery.
I'm sorry. But the point is, she's like, oh my god, it's gonna talk. I'm like, Catherine, no, it's not. This is realistic, actually. This is more realistic. She's like, no, it's gonna talk to me. It's gonna talk to me. I'm like, why are we watching this? On Halloween. It was your idea.
I know.
And I couldn't take it seriously because I was just laughing at you the whole time.
I have many ideas. None of them are good. Like this podcast. I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right, guys. Understand what the root is. Know what your triggers are.
Yes.
Recognize.
Okay, wait. First off, acknowledge that you have anxiety.
Yeah, acknowledgement is number one. First step.
Acknowledge that you have it.
Yeah.
2, start to recognize your triggers.
Yeah.
So you can find the root.
And finding the root is so important.
Oh yeah, because then you can rip that shit out.
Yeah. Or like really quick side note. I remember when I was first going through this breakup and I was like, what if he does this? What if he does that? And you were like, Kat, what is root? Why are you feeling anxious? And I was like, well, I was thinking of this and I was thinking of that. And she was like, you were like, dig deeper. Why do you feel like that? And I was like, well, it's because my mom did this. And I was like, oh my God, it's my mother.
It's my mother.
It's my mother.
It's my father.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Keep going.
So,
generational curses.
Generational trauma. It's a form of generational trauma.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I have that too. Anyways. So yeah, if you find the root, at least, you know, you could start dealing with it. The point is, you could recognizing it allows you to learn to not cope, but cope, you know, right. Like praying helps, like finding things that help.
Yeah.
And then when you start finding things that help, you're a little less, so you could identify what is triggering your anxiety.
Right.
And then once you find your triggers, you're like, okay, then you could learn to avoid them, to resolve them.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
Crucify your thoughts.
You crucify your thoughts. And then you find the root and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, I don't want to be my mother.
And also.
And then you could start working on that. And then guess what?
You're healed.
Healing.
You're healed more than you were already.
Yeah.
But don't distract yourself too much.
Oh yeah. You don't want to,
I did that.
You don't want to distract. That's honestly, that is one thing kind of, and that's why I tell you not to do it. That's something that I've been learning. And when you tell me, oh, I'm just gonna work. I'm like, Catherine, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to allow you to spread yourself too thin.
I'm a serial distractor.
So that way you don't think about it, because not thinking about it or not dealing with it doesn't allow it to get better.
Right.
It just allows you to survive.
And I did that with my first like big breakup, and I didn't learn anything, and it kind of set me up for failure with my last long-term relationship. And it's never good to distract yourself. What someone once told me, because I was like, I'm going through another breakup. Like,
just like it's not good to distract yourself long term.
I
feel like a small little one to like calm you down.
Yeah,
that's a little different. But to like just not deal with it at all, that's no bueno.
Someone told me that when you feel anxious, anxiety, your old ways were to just full distraction. But she was like, why don't you do this? Why don't you recognize it, feel it through, feel the grief, feel the anguish, whatever you feel, and then distract. Then go to the gym, and then go on your phone. Whatever maybe. Do half and half.
That's what I tend to do.
And you can do that. That's what she does. That's what I do now. So, you have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't have anything else to say.
Well, what an abrupt ending.
Anyway, guys, we gave you advice on what to do.
Yeah. Not psychological. We are not therapists.
No, we are not. We are not close to any of that.
No, I do not have. I mean, took some psych classes, but not a therapist.
No. Technically, I have a degree in psychology.
Oh, I wanted one. That didn't happen.
But technically, I don't use it. But anyway, I hope you guys loved this episode. I actually like this. I liked making this episode.
This one was fun.
This was fun.
I think it was a good topic.
Yeah, I hope you guys,
especially for two anxious girls.
I hope you guys like it too. And we hope that you apply whatever we were talking about. If you wanna follow us, follow. What's
follow?
Oh no, it was Dala Fahala. What is it?
Yeah,
$20 Fahala or some shit like that.
Well, I just think of Big Brother when he's like $1,500 for 1,500. Hello.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
if anybody knows
BB16, best season. We hope you guys like this, and we'll see you guys next week. And have a blessed day. If you guys want to follow us on Spotify, we are, what is it? 2 Girls No Pod.
2 Girls No Cup Pod.
Oh yeah.
Cast.
No podcast. Two
girls. 1, 2. No cup. Do you see a cup? Podcast.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are 2 Girls No Cup Pod, and you'll find us there. Yeah. And we just wish for a blessed day. We hope that this reached you in some sort of way.
Yeah, hopefully it helped.
If you are looking for more advice, give us a DM.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's a wrap, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.